A few years ago, we started a shoe company, which on the day I started it, I knew it would go bankrupt. Because my purpose was not to make actual shoes, but to make a discussion about a certain type of shoes. And these are shoes made of genetically modified stingray leather. So on the company's website, people could design their own stingray, and then it would be turned into a beautiful customized shoe, which you could then order from the website. In a way, it's a pity when you do these projects, because there are always people who ask, you should really make these shoes and you should sell them. But yeah, unfortunately, our goal is not to make shoes. Our goal is to create a discussion. And then we cannot make the shoes, because then we would not be neutral anymore in the discussion. I studied computer science, art and philosophy. And I'm still working in the hybrid space in between these disciplines. I am the director of the Next Nature network, and I'm also the head of the Next Nature lab, where I work as a teacher and a researcher at the Eindhoven University. And I always try to have credibility among the scientists, credibility among the artists. But in the end, what often happens is that the scientists see me as an artist and the artists see me as a scientist, which is fine. In Amsterdam, we have a studio where we maintain the website, and everything that goes out in the world goes through that studio. I feel like an inventor of things that are not yet possible. Since a few years, we have been generating a lot of speculative products that look as if you can buy them immediately, although it's not the case, because there's some missing link. And we create these products together with students, but the goal is not to make a marketable product. The goal is to create a discussion.
Als kleines Kind hatte ich eben den Traum, im Automobildesign einzusteigen. Bin aber eher in das Industriedesign gegangen, weil ich gedacht habe, ich will erstmal einen breiten Horizont haben, was Produktdesign angeht. Ich muss sagen, es ist ziemlich offen hier. Alles ist ein bisschen chilliger und von den Prüfungen auch ist es eher menschlicher einfach. Anstatt irgendwelche Prüfungen so abzuschreiben und Leute gucken sich das irgendwelche Formen an, man redet drüber, wie man Design versteht, was es für sich selbst bedeutet. Also man wird als Designer viel mehr in diesen Prozess mit eingebunden. Man muss eine eigene Vision entwickeln, was Design angeht.
In der Mitte dann, ja? Wenn ich geschlagen habe, drückst du auf den Knopf. Also, das ist meine Kaffeemaschine, ich nenne sie Boxpresso. Aufgrund der Tatsache, dass die Interaktion nicht über Knöpfe läuft, sondern etwas anders. Der Benutzer fängt an, diese Maschine zu customizen. Und die Maschine fängt an, eine Geschichte zu erzählen über den Benutzer. Ist er eher ein Kaffeetrinker? Ist er ein Espresso-Trinker? Kann man sehen anhand, wie stark die Maschine deformiert ist. Wenn Sie sie streicheln würden, würde sie Milch geben. Wenn Sie sie schlagen, gibt sie Kaffee. Und wenn Sie sie boxen, ist halt die stärkste Interaktion, gibt sie halt Espresso.
As I see it, humor is a very powerful tool, not only to connect people, but also to cope with complexity. When things become too complex, then we sometimes can still laugh about it, and that's very rewarding, I think. So yes, I use a lot of humor for that purpose. Today the Next Nature theme exhibition with all the projects from all the students. Students presenting here the end result of what they have done this past semester. It's over now, and the level is very varied. Some beautiful things and some things that need some work, but they have time to fix it.
Die Idee Idee ist eigentlich, ich möchte mit Hitze das Auto kühlen. Vor allen Dingen bei Sportwagen ist es einfach so, man hat nur 25% an Effizienz in den Motoren und desto höher die PS-Anzahl, umso größer ist dann die Hitzeentwicklung. Und das ist jetzt der Hitze. Was das Auto macht, es entfaltet sich einfach und kreiert eben solche Kiemen. Das gleiche passiert hier theoretisch dann eben auch auf der Motorhaube. Es geht dann eben hoch, entwickelt dann diese Air Outlets. Das gleiche hier vorne. Theoretisch könnte man diese ganzen Teile oder auch eben hier in der, sieht man es nicht so gut, könnte man das ganze Auto damit bepacken, weil es eben, wie wir Menschen, in einem Kontext lebt. Sei es jetzt, ob es warm ist oder nicht warm oder ob wir Sport machen oder nicht Sport machen. Das ist wie wenn wir schwitzen. Wir schwitzen eben Flüssigkeit und das Auto sollte Luft schwitzen.
Well, I got fascinated from the fact that I didn't know where the products that I wear are coming from. I believe humans are totally alienated from the products through origin, and I try to implement this vision for a fashion company, Inti. What I did is I connect their customer to the producer. First, she bought a garment in a shop. She scanned the label of the garment and she experienced the process, the people, the story of the garment via a video. The same ad asked her to thank the knitters and the producers by sending in a picture of her wearing the garment. And this photograph came on my webpage that only is possible to look at for the knitters.
It's a graduation project, so I do hope that Eileen continues on this project also after graduating and maybe turn it into a reality. It's sort of an advertisement for the sniffer.
It's an advertisement for the sniffer. It shows what sniffer can.
What's the smell?
It looks a lot like a Google Glass. That's
It's based on the Google Glass.
Yes,
but it has an extra added value called the sniffer.
So this is sniffing.
Well, yeah, this is sniffing. The sensors are placed below your nose and smells all the things you smell. But of course better, it smells also the faintest traces.
And what do I see here? Because this smells things and then I have this additional glass. I see the smell as well, or how is it working?
Of course, if you're cooking or if you're tasting wine, you have the synesthetic mode, which translates all the scent, all the smells you're smelling into a nice coloring play.
So it's extending your senses.
It's extends your senses in the visual spectrum.
So I think what's interesting about this is that you use new media to also fall back on that ancient ability to use smell as a guide. And yeah, it will be competing with the Google Glass, which is nice, of course. So yeah, I like this project. Well done. Many products that shock, because if you are designing products in order to create a discussion, then the best products are designed in a way that 50% of the people thinks, this is awesome, I want to buy this today. And the other 50% of the people says, this should never be on the market and I don't want this in my life ever. Because then you have tension. Project we are doing now is studying the whole world of in vitro meat. Meat in which there's no killing of an animal involved anymore, but you just take a few cells from the animal and turn that into a piece of meat. And for me the reason to get into that is because I think it exemplifies also what is now going on when people talk about their relationship with nature. It's crazy, it's just weird. I study, observe, visualize and share how this new way of looking at how technology becomes nature, how that has an effect on our everyday life.
During the placing of the metal implant, the onset of this graft versus host disease is delayed by a specific bacteria known as Streptococcus metallomaligna. The body tissue around it can become infected by this bacteria. If an initial infection goes undetected and lies dormant for several years, the implant in turn can be afflicted. When this point is reached, a growth process will take place within the metal of the implant.
The basic idea of Next Nature is that we should look very differently at the relationship between people, nature and technology, because typically we see nature and technologies as opposites, like black and white, but increasingly we realize that it's not the case anymore, because on the one hand we are transforming our original natural environment into a world of design, but at the same time also our technologies become so omnipresent, intimate, complex and also autonomous that we start to think of them as a nature of its own. And that's the idea of Next Nature.